This is a special presentation of the Sim Racing Channel. Real racing, virtually.
What's going on, everybody? It's Turn Down for What pre-race show tonight for the Turn Down for What Next Gen iRacing series being aired on multiple platforms. We're out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and the Roku channel, the Sim Racing channel. Definitely welcome everybody for showing up tonight. We've got a bunch of things going on. Tonight is the last race of the regular season, race number 10 at Las Vegas. This should be a really, really good race tonight. Kind of wondering who may be able to bring this thing home for the individual regular season champion. It's going to be close between three different drivers. Right now we've got Kyle Taub with a points lead over Jose Ruiz of 31 points there. And then we've got Zach Meredith still in the mix as well. I think he's about 36 points back. So for those guys to get up into contention tonight, they're going to have a very bad night for Kyle Taub, who has been super consistent this season. Here is what I am talking about right now. I will move that. So the point standing following Phoenix 2 weeks ago, as we had last week off, Tyler Dohar got his third win of the season, so he is currently at the top of the leaderboard because he has those 3 wins. However, the points themselves are right now with Kyle Taub, who does not have a win. So his 353 will be securing him the regular season title if he can get it here. And then you got a few others. And we got a bunch of guys fighting for that 8th, 9th, and 10th position to get in. We could have one more person win to get in. And I don't know. I don't know who it could be tonight. We've got a bunch of different people that are very, very fast at Las Vegas. I think it's probably a contention of about 5 or 6 different drivers that probably have a shot at tonight's win. Mike York is one of them. Hunter Peach is another one. Christopher Murphy, Zach Meredith always, Pacey Wygen, Kyle Taub, Tyler Dohar. I mean, you've got 10, 15 guys that at any point could be sitting there in the top spot at the end of the night. Then you've got a bunch of guys who probably could win this thing if they have, some the dice rolls their way, I guess. But looking at the overall season so far, it's been a great season. A lot of different winners. I mean, we've had a bunch of different winners this season with 7 different winners, or 6 different winners out of the 10 races so far. And then you've got a bunch of wins, multi-winners. There was Zach Meredith and Tyler Dohar. Dohar's been on a string of wins the last several weeks. You can go back about 6 or 7 weeks, and the dude has just reeled off wins in multiple different leagues. So I'll bring him up here real quick, and then I'll go through some other information. But we'll talk to him real quick, just see how he's feeling about tonight's race. Tyler Dohar, you got a copy. This is Swats up at the booth.
Oh, hey.
What's going on, Tyler? Every time I talk to you before we do a race here, you usually wind up winning the race. So I don't know if that's just a thing or if it's just, you're that good. Then you've been on a dominant streak. I was just talking about it the last, 6, 7 weeks. It seems like in this league and Shake and Bake and other leagues, you're pulling off wins left and right. But here in Turn Down for What, both series, Sunday night's race and Tuesday night's races, you are probably been the hottest driver of the last 6 or 7 weeks. What is it about this series that has just been able for you to come in and pull off 3 wins and climb the point standings and set yourself up for this playoff run?
I mean, really, it's a couple things. I mean, first and foremost, it's definitely the equipment upgrade. I mean, direct drive wheel just is night and day difference from even the other Fanatec equipment I've been running, all the way back to the Pro League to when I first got on iRacing. So definitely the last month and a half has really been strong because that's when I started working with the direct drive. But also, Swats, I mean, I'm coming to a lot of tracks now where I've gone there for the second, maybe third time in a league race, especially in fixed sets. Granted, the fuel loads are different between shake and bake and here, especially in turn down for what, because the fuel loads are just quite a bit different. So, got to get used to that. But I mean, really, it's those two main things. Once you get to these tracks and kind of learn the nuances of the next gen car, it's not so new anymore. You're used to what the car's going to do when you put it in certain situations. If you're really pressing and having to go, and when you can kind of back off and ride. So I think that kind of gives us a leg up in some regards. But I mean, this competition is stout. We can't just kind of rest on our laurels. We got to make sure that we go out and bring our best every single week and every single race. Because we're still point hunting. I mean, Tob's going to get a good chunk of bonus points here to start the playoffs for being the regular season champion. So we got to try to notch up another win and maybe another couple stages. We got to try to go for a clean sweep here so we can, tidy up that gap and make sure we're good sitting so we can get into Kansas and be one of the four fighting.
Well, we're here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a track that it's been kind of a 50-50 when I talk to drivers. Some drivers love this track because it's kind of the similar style as Charlotte and a couple others. But there's the other 50% that just do not like coming out of turn 2 or turn 4. How are you feeling about tonight's race at Las Vegas with only a 76-degree temperature for track temp?
It's going to be tight. These cars are going to be tight. I wish we were kind of running more in the daytime, maybe late afternoon. Shake and bake when we ran here, it was really nice because cars were very loose right at the start and kind of didn't tighten up until 15, 20 laps into the run. Here I'm worried, especially with a low fuel load, we're just going to be very, very tight, especially in draft. I think a lot of guys might plow down the turn 4 and turn 2 walls early on. We're just going to have to stay disciplined, try to figure out a way to drive it off the right rear so we can make it a little bit looser to our liking. But we'll see. We're all on the same track, so that's how we got to figure it out. We all got to figure it out together. As now the track temp's down to 75, so we'll figure it out here in qualifying. See what we can do. Put down a fast lap. Track position is going to be key. Want to try to start up front and just kind of ride the bottom and see if we can save the right front.
Well, definitely good luck to you going for another win here. You're creeping up in the point standings. Like I said, you've got Jose Ruiz, Zach Meredith, and Kyle Taub right now kind of out in front of you a little bit, but you've been hard charging up these point standings with the wins that you've been knocking off. So good luck tonight at Las Vegas. I'm sure you'll be able to roll those dice and come up snake eyes and get another win.
All right. Thanks, Swats. We'll see you hopefully on the other side.
Yep. I'll send you back down. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. I want to talk about another thing that's on the screen here. We got Christine's Warriors up on the screen. It's a logo that's sitting there. I'm just changing the color of the lettering there so you guys can see it a little better. And I'll bring up the graphic that I was sent today. This graphic is a Survivor Spotlight. It's for Christine Brundage. I remember doing an event, I think a couple years ago, where we put up some emblems and things like that, and everybody painted their trucks, their trucks with pink and stuff. And some of the guys tonight are running some pink logos and pink cars and have Christine's ribbon on their car as well. But the story about Christine is right there. I'll read it for you here. She was diagnosed with breast cancer October 18th of 2018. She's had the double mastectomy. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. Chemo and radiation. She just had reconstructive surgery on the 14th of October of 2020, so 2 years ago, and she's a survivor trying to do her best to think positive and get stronger every day, so we are here to support her. That 25th anniversary for the American Cancer Society, making strides. Definitely want to send some strength and some hope and some care to Christine and anybody else that's out there as a cancer survivor as well, or going through cancer right now. There's a couple drivers out there. I know that they've got Byron Jones is going to be running a car. I don't think he's running it tonight, but he's going to be running a car here the next several weeks. It's he got with 213. And they're doing special shirts and things like that that says F Cancer on it. So we all want to, definitely be out there for people that have had cancer or have family members or are going through it themselves right now. Definitely all the prayers out there for all those people. Looks like I might have somebody in the booth with me. Yeah, I got two people in the booth with me. Mr. Pete and Shad are both in the booth now. We are getting through qualifying right now. What's up, fellas?
What it do?
What's going on, guys?
There's that old what's going on, guys. Yeah, we're just getting ready for this Las Vegas race. I just talked to Dohar a little bit. Dohar is kind of excited about tonight's race. Kind of wished it was a little hotter, but it's a little cold right now, so he said it was a little tight out there. But we've got a massive points battle for this regular season. Dohar pretty much said that he thought Kyle pretty much could wrap it up tonight with a mediocre run here because he's got a good amount of points over Jose Ruiz. But I'm not really sure that it's just between Kyle and Jose. I'm thinking Zach Meredith has a chance here tonight. He's very, very fast. He's sitting second in the points, or sitting third in the points. But he's got 2 wins this season. Actually, I just saw Zach came up into the booth. Zach, what's going on? Just happened to jump up in the booth when I was talking about you there. But yeah,
I wrapped up my qualifying run, and I was just like, let me just pop in the booth real quick.
Well, right now you're the fastest on the board, so congratulations on that. I didn't even see that, but yeah, I was kind of thinking you might have a shot tonight because I mean it's Las Vegas. You're pretty fast at Charlotte. You're pretty fast at the old Atlanta. Now we've got Las Vegas. It's a similar style track. How are you looking at tonight? Obviously, you've got some speed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just taking it like from learning from the trucks and Xfinity races I've done in the past and turned on for what. I mean, I won the last truck race here, and I finished. I think I would have finished in the top 5 if I didn't run out of gas off of 4 last time we were in Xfinity cars here. So, I mean, I think I'm going to be pretty solid tonight. Hopefully, I just don't make my own mistakes, and hopefully, I win the pole in the next 5 seconds.
Well, we definitely appreciate you popping up at the booth and giving us some insight here. I'll say you'll be definitely one of the 2 drivers that I'll be paying attention to tonight for my pick for possibly winning this race. So good luck on the race, and it looks like we've got 1 to green. So I don't know where you were. Were you down in CCR or were you in Checkmate?
I can go down there. It's all good.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck on your race tonight, Pete and Shad. We'll throw it into the national anthem real quick and come back as it looks like we're already getting girded up. So we'll be right back. All right, Pete and Chad, we're back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we have the grid pulled up. Zach Meredith, who we just spoke to, comes away with the pole tonight. And it looks like I don't have the volume. I forgot to turn that up because we were talking to so much. But, yeah, we've got Zach Meredith on the pole tonight with his, I think, third pole of the season. We got Chris Murphy in the 21 going to be sitting second. Hunter Peach, who won our inaugural race for Next Gen, sitting third. Kyle Taub, your current points leader, sitting fourth. Jeff Jones, coming up fifth. Byron Jones sixth. Tyler Dohar seventh, who's on a string of wins. Jose Ruiz battling for the regular season championship, sitting eighth. Jeff George sitting ninth. Ryan McCall starting 10th. Mike Allen running the 88 tonight, running the 11th spot. Jeff Lednam in his 37 will be starting 12th. Cole Snyder 13th. Mike Campbell the third is going to be starting 14th. Nate Lehman 15th. Mike York 16th. Gary Huffin 17th. Joshua Roberts 18th. Pacey Wygant 19th. And that's it. I saw Shad's number in there.
Yeah, so 19 cars around this mile-and-a-half Sin City Speedway. Man, Shad, I know you've had a lot of success on a lot of these cookie cutter tracks. What are you looking forward to tonight, and who is your pick as we go green?
Green flag runs. Tire's going to get worn off. And as far as the pick, I'm thinking Jose. The guy's really good on long runs. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jose is able to manage those tires better than the rest.
Pete, that's not a bad pick. Jose, at these style tracks, he is so consistent and very good at saving tire. We saw him a few weeks ago back when he got his win. He was very, very consistent at saving tire. He saved a lot of speed for later in the runs. Like Shad said, with those green flag runs, we could definitely have some guys that are coming away late in the run and come flying up on people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and Las Vegas definitely very, very well known for having a whole lot of momentum off that high side, kind of like a Chicago. In fact, back in the day, I used to use the same setup between Chicagoland and Las Vegas. Very, very similar. All kinds of high side racing can be accomplished here. You might even see a slide job or two from the guy on the bottom just to get on up to the high side. Coming across the start stripe to complete the first couple laps. Looks like Zach Meredith's going to be able to hold serve. Hunter Peach, Chris Murphy, Byron Jones, and Kyle Taub. Shad?
Yeah, something I noticed right there coming off of 4 on lap 1 is Chris Murphy actually had a run and was almost right to that rear quarter panel of the 17. 17 kind of pinched him up close to the walls. 21 had to get out of the gas, and that actually allowed the 5 to get back by the 21. So I don't think Chris Murphy appreciated that probably too much, especially considering his lap 1. But I think everybody right now is probably settling in, trying not to wear those tires off. At least that's what I would be doing right about now. So I don't know. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I would probably back off, kind of like you do with Charlotte. I've never been the guy that goes out there and runs as hard as he can right off the bat at these type of tracks, because it seems like they just shred the tires for the first 10, 15 laps, and then you're just left with just plain tires with nothing on them, no grip, no nothing, no speed. And you just slide everywhere, slide up the track. You lose so many positions. And the guys that kind of sit back and hover and just wait and be patient, they just seem to come flying by like you're tied to a tree, 15, 20 laps in this run. We just heard from Zach saying the fuel run would probably be right around 30, 35 laps. I think 35, that's probably the number I would probably shoot for. But I don't know. I would be the guy that sits back. I mean, I know you've run here a lot, Pete. You've been very good at this track. You were one of the fastest drivers I've seen in a long time. The way that you were driving this track previously, and I mean, you were able to overcome a lot and still be super fast and make your way back to the lead 2 or 3 times. So you and Shad probably have the most experience at Las Vegas to know what to do. I kind of wait and see what happens, and then it usually bites me in the butt because I've waited too long.
Shad, if I don't remember correct, or if I do remember correctly, I think I came in second at this track not too long ago. I'm thinking maybe last season, and it wasn't really running the high side. It wasn't really running the low side either. It was kind of running right above that first seam. That way you had a little bit of that bottom speed, but you weren't all the way up high either. You're kind of like right there in the middle, so you had a little bit of momentum. You weren't really utilizing the right rear all that much, and since you were in that middle seam, you also weren't blistering that right front. I could be wrong, could be thinking of somewhere else, kind of like maybe a Chicagoland, but that, if I'm not mistaken, that was the way I ran this place. How about you?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been racing on this track, but if I remember right, if you go from the bottom to the top, bottom uses the least amount of tires, and the farther you go up, it burns them off faster. Kind of like Atlanta does, to where like Atlanta, at least old Atlanta used to be where there was just a ton of speed up top, but you burn the tires faster up there for some reason, and I think it's mostly because of, obviously if you're running the bottom, you got to get the car down to a lower speed, and I feel like that's what it is here, if I'm not mistaken. But I know you definitely don't want to be battling too wide, especially this early in the run, because you are just burning your tires up. So guys like, what I've noticed is that too, of Byron Jones coming up the field, he might be good right now, but in 10 laps, he might be falling right back down through the field. So he's making headway, but how far will he stay up there? I don't know. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Charlotte, Atlanta, Las Vegas, those three tracks to me, it just feels very similar when you go to those. I'm talking about old Atlanta. When you go to those three tracks, it just feels like they drive the same. I kind of floated in. I like the line that Pete's talking about, where you put the lefts just below the first seam there, and just kind of carry a little bit more speed than you do on the bottom. You don't burn the tires off as much. You don't, drag speed back from yourself by trying to get down to that bottom line. So you kind of carry so much more momentum than the other guys, and I feel like my tires lasted longer. So I would probably do exactly what Pete's talking about on that first line. I might run the bottom line if I need to pass somebody, but I feel like a lot of people are going to float up the track later on in the run if we do get some very long runs here. I know we've got, stage breaks coming. I'm kind of looking through the line here, and I'm surprised a few people have fallen. Mike York has dropped 7 positions, and that to me is not as much of a surprise as I would, I guess, maybe emphasize on it here, because I'm guessing he's probably laying back, waiting for his tires to really come in and everybody else kind of burn them off. But there's a couple other people. I mean, I'm seeing like Pacey's dropped 4 positions since the start. He's back in 16th. He's probably waiting as well. Not Pacey's up 4. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. So it's actually -4 would be Mike Campbell the third, and Cole Snyder have dropped 4. But Mike York's actually up 8 positions. So yeah, I would kind of just relax, wait. We've got some laps. I think the first stage, if I can't remember, is 30 laps.
Yeah, it sounds that actually does sound about right. And I see you back there kind of hanging out with the 88 of old Mike Allen. And, Christine's Warriors, they came out in force the other on Sunday night for the Turn Down for What iRacing Truck Series. And unfortunately, I was having all kinds of power issues. I was getting surges and everything was going on. And with about 7 laps to go, the power completely went out in the house. I was sitting here in the dark talking to Pop Bear and saying, hey, nothing more I can do. And I felt really, really bad because all of Christine's crew, like I said, came out in force. They were in the chat and we were talking about it. I showed them the about page of my channel. And every time you go to my channel, you scroll on down, you see the link there, you're able to donate, do all that. I actually went over and dropped $10 myself. But man, what a great cause all month long. And Turn Down for What, as always, Shad, we show up big for community and cancer. Like Byron said, F cancer.
Something this league has always joined forces. No matter how much sometimes we hate each other, we always join together in a cause. And it's just great that, being that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that we can come together. And I know some of the guys this week are running special paint schemes. I know there's going to be probably more next week. Michael Allen actually hit me up earlier today, wanting me to make him a car. And I got some of it done. I wish I would have been able to get it done for tonight, but I'm hoping that he'll be happy with how it turns out for next week's race. But as I'm watching the race, it looks like you start to see the guys that have been saving start to make moves now that we've gotten later in the run, and guys who kind of burnt their stuff up too fast, too soon, they're starting to drop. And as I'm watching right now, that 5 car, I think he was pacing Meredith this whole time. Letting Meredith get out there thinking he's got a fast hot rod. Meanwhile, he was just saving tires. He's looking to make a move here real soon on that 17 car. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I think Hunter's probably just waiting. Like I said, 30 laps is the stage for tonight, stage 1. Stage 2 is 30 laps as well. Stage 3 is going to be 80 laps. But I was looking back here at this gaggle of cars. There was like 5 or 6 guys here kind of all battling for position, being led by Cole Snyder, Nate Lehman, and Pacey Wygant starting to make their moves up through. Pacey up 6, Nate up 3, Cole finally making his move, so he's now got +1. But Mike York's up +9. He's been coming up through this field pretty quickly, so I thought maybe he was laying back, but he seems to be going all out. And it's not really fading for him. So we've got 10 laps left in the stage, and he's under fire from Kyle Taub and Ryan McCall back there. And Kyle, he needs points tonight to lock up his position. If he gets some decent points here in this first and second stage, he does not have to worry about points for the third stage. It doesn't matter where he finishes. He will be the regular season champion. So I think he's just kind of riding. Dohar's kind of on the move. He's up 3 positions. Byron Jones is up 3 positions. I'm loving the paint scheme that Byron's got going on, that Las Vegas paint scheme. Him and Mike York both have some special Las Vegas paint schemes, but Byron threw the pink rims on, which look pretty cool as well. So, but Hunter takes the lead from Zach Meredith, like you were predicting there, Shad, and he might be setting his sail and being gone for the end of the stage. And Hunter won the very first race of the season. Could Hunter win the last race of the regular season?
Well, looking at lap times, Byron Jones actually right now, somebody who I thought was actually burning his stuff up, he's actually running the fastest lap times out of that top 5. As he's actually making a move on Meredith for second place. So maybe Byron was actually saving this whole time and was actually just making runs when he could or keeping that car in clean air. But right now, him and Hunter are pretty close. Byron's about a half-tenth faster than the leader when they're both single files. So maybe Byron can make these next 8 laps, 7 laps, and get there. Only time will tell, Kurt or Pete.
Yeah, Byron Jones underneath the 17th. They've been side by side now for about 2 laps. You almost got to wonder if the 17, maybe just running a little bit more race pace rather than just trying to pull ahead. Boy, I tell you what, good thing that Uncle Netcode hasn't visited Las Vegas. That could have been pretty bad right there between the 17 and the deuce of Byron Jones. And yeah, now they're getting really close, touching, driver's side door to passenger door coming off of 4. Man, that could have been really, really bad. But yeah, it just looks like the 17 might have backed up to Byron, got a little racy, starting to pull away again just a little bit. Or maybe Byron said, you know what, I don't need any contact, I need max points, let's go.
Yeah, I think Byron just backed off there for a second after he lost some momentum, and he's trying to get a run again. We've got 6 laps coming to 5 laps to go in the stage. So Byron, I think he lost a little momentum there with Zach. I think he's going to restructure, re-strategize here and try to gain some momentum right here on the high side as he's getting through. Can he get it good through the backstretch? I think Byron, the kid's been on fire, Pete. I mean, he's one of your drivers. He's been just racking off P2s and P3s. He's leading. I think he's leading the points in the Truck Series, or at least he was up until last week or something. But he's doing well in this series as well. So I think, could his luck strike tonight and hit the jackpot and get his first win ever in this series?
As I'm watching these two battle, I can tell Meredith's car is tight in the center of each side of the track, and I think it's because I'm watching these two. Meredith was actually driving in a little deeper than Byron, and Byron was able to get back on that throttle and get the car to rotate through the center of the turns. And finally, after getting to the outside of Meredith, he was finally able to make that move. Now, does he have enough time with 3 laps to go to be able to run down that 5 car? His car looks really good. I'm not gonna lie, it is fast. So, Pete, I don't know if he'll make it.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching through the windshield back at Byron right now for his Jones painting and designs on the hood with the Patriot Esports logo just underneath. And I'm watching Byron's hands and the wheel. There's that little orange stripe on the wheel that tells you when the car is being pointed forward. And he's got the car straightened out while he's just about 3/4 way through the corner. So he's using that right rear to help steer the car off the corner. That's why the right front isn't worn out so much, and that's why he's still carrying so much speed. He's doing a great job, really is.
He's 4 or 5 100s faster than Peach. I just don't know if he can get to him and make the pass. It took him 2 different times of trying to pass Meredith. And Hunter obviously backed off a little more than Zach did to start this race, so he might have something for Byron if he gets to him. I just don't think he can get to him and pass him with coming to 1.5 to go here as we go down the backstretch. Hunter Peach looking to win, I think, his first stage since the very first race.
Yeah, Byron right there, that last time by was 2 tenths faster. I don't know. We'll see what it is here. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get there. But if anything, I think this shows the rest of the field that Byron came ready to play tonight. And he's going to lay all the chips down on the table, no pun intended.
Pun away, sir.
Spin that roulette wheel and hope it comes up red.
I think for Byron, the dice are coming up 7.
I was going to say snake eyes.
Hey, I was gonna. There you go.
1 and 1, that's 2. His number's 2. Come on. But yeah, I think Hunter.
We put them together and we're rolling 7s. Hey, how about that?
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's 1-7. Come on. But that is lap 30. That is going to be the end of our first stage, and Hunter Peach is going to come away with that all-important first stage max points. Byron getting the second most points there. That's definitely going to help his cause towards getting into this top 10 without a win, unless he could pull it off tonight. The rest of the top 10 looks like Zach Meredith sitting 3rd, Ryan McCall up to 4th, Tyler Dohar sitting 5th, Kyle Taub 6th, Jose Ruiz 7th, Mike York moves up to 8th, and plus 11 by Pacey Wygen going up to 9th place, and Jeff Ludnam rounding out our top 10. Let's go ahead and try to get that 5 in here whenever he comes down pit road. I'm going to pull up that graphic one more time as looks like Mama Bear put the link in the chat there for everybody. So go to Making Strides Against Breast Cancer and go in there, read the story, donate if you can. But I have that Survivor Spotlight out on the screen right now. Christine Brundage, I did see her out in the chat. Definitely appreciate her coming out, and all the people and the viewers that are here tonight to see this information and the paint schemes that are created by the drivers, everything that Turned Down for What does. I mean, we've done it here in Turned Down for What. I think the first time I seen this was
Many
back
times.
in NNR. I mean, it's been a kind of a tradition, I hate to say, almost of pulling up a Survivor, but I think it's a good tradition at the same time. So, it, puts that spotlight on survivors. They work hard. They push through everything they're going through with cancer and everything else. It's super strong people are able to go through that. Most people can't. So it's a huge deal, Pete and Chad. I'm really glad she's able to come out and watch this and see what we can do for her for a show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about Joker and the tribute races that we ran for him. You think about
Mike Allen.
So many. Yep, Mike Allen. We did the Alpha 1 race. That was a 6-hour endurance race at Talladega. We've done a lot of things for a lot of people. You think about Scott Moyer and the wheelchair van that we did for him a long time ago. I mean, so much that we've done between NNR, Turned Out for What, Shadow Racing, NAOR. Obviously here, tonight, but so much, that Turn Down for What and all these guys have done for leagues, communities, and clubs over the last several years, it just really goes to show the kind of heart that that these guys have.
It's a giant family. Even people
And
that
family, absolutely.
I mean, it's friends and family. Even if you're just a friend of a driver or friend of an admin or owner, everybody together, you know, we make one giant family. Whether we're just a driver, a broadcaster, admin, everybody has friends and family that go through stuff, and we do everything we can for everybody. So. But Pete, Shad, I'm going to try to bring up Hunter Peach here. We'll talk to Hunter and see how he got this first stage win under his belt at Las Vegas. Hunter, you got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear. You just came away with the first stage in Las Vegas. How did you pull it off, and how were those tires at the end of that first stage?
Not gonna give out the tire information because I don't want nobody else to know. But honestly, just kind of play it conservative, see what the track does. I didn't expect to start complete nighttime, but the track's definitely cool. I'm kind of hoping it widens out to an outside line group. I don't think it is right now. But no, we just basically played it conservative and then kind of just rode around and eventually just by time got out front. And Byron was definitely gaining for sure. He's found something I have not. But hopefully we can hold him on for stage 2 though.
Pete, Shad, any questions for our first stage winner here?
And you go ahead, Shad.
Yeah, Hunter. So started third, you worked your way up after Meredith seemed to burn off his tires. You know, with Byron starting sixth, working his way up to second, I thought his tires were going to be burned off too, but he was able to slowly close in on you at the end there. What more, or what are you going to try now at the start of this second stage to maybe save those tires a little bit more, just in case Byron's figured out even more after that first run?
Learn the track as we go is the main thing. See what he's
Hunter
done
never
that I have
practices.
not.
He never even buys the track until they're like an hour before the race starts, so he never knows.
Well, to be fair, I like these cars in the 1.5.
Oh.
That's usually been my strong suit. I mean, if you look at the season stands, my best races have been on the 1.5 miles.
I remember somebody coming into the season, Pete, if you remember that first race, saying, "Oh, I hate these cars. I don't like them. Not going to be good." Then he comes out, wins Daytona in the first race. Now he wants to tell us he likes them at certain tracks. He's just, he's a wild one. We never know what to expect. But, Hunter, I definitely appreciate you coming up into the booth here. I know you're coming around turn 2. Want to get you back to your teammates there. Pete, any last question for this first stage winner?
Go get him, Hunter.
Hopefully I'll see y'all maybe after the race, but that only time will tell.
All right. Come up with some new statements, by the way. The same old, I never practice, or now whatever.
I never said that.
Yeah. You don't go by the track until like an hour before the race starts. Or at least that's what you used to tell us. I'll catch you
That
later.
was like months ago.
All
Sounds
right.
to me like a man that's holding his cards close to his chest.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there you go. Keep the puns coming.
He says that all the time, and then he comes out and wins. So I never know if he's actually telling me the truth or not. So, but yeah, we're gonna rack him and stack him and just get ready to go here. Pete, Hunter is taking off in that HendricksCar.com 5 car, and he just shot out of a cannon and left the field.
Oh yeah, the leader or the control car on these restarts, they've always got the advantage of being the first one to go ahead and smash that loud pedal once you enter the restart zone. So that's exactly what he did as soon as it came to be. He's on it, and now it's up to the rest of the field to catch up. But one thing about Vegas and the draft that's here, you're gonna get caught in pretty quick fashion. So now it's up to Zach Meredith and Ryan McCall that are side by side behind them to see what they can do with this HendricksCars.com machine. And Shad, to your point, hey man, we're in Vegas. People bluff all the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm watching the 2-car Byron Jones, and he's just amazing me. Lost 3 spots on that pit stop. Started on the bottom. Within the first turn, he was able to find a spot up high and make a couple passes, and now he's working on 3rd place. Running the high line, which have to admit, that first stint, he did it better than the rest. And I have no doubt that he's probably going to make his way for this third and then just sit there and pace the front two. It looks like he's got a hot rod for tonight. I don't know. Kurt, what do you think?
Oh, man, I think he's aces right now. He's got something on the rest of the field. He's learned something about this track. That line that he's running, I think he might have been coached up by the guy that's sitting in the booth with us, Shaq, because he's running pretty much that exact line that Pete was talking about at the beginning of this race. He's running those lefts on that first seam or right above it or right below it, but he's not really tracking down to the white line. He's kind of staying right there. As I say that, then he goes down to the bottom. But that's where he's been kind of making up his speed, is in that second groove. And he's pulling on these guys. And if he's conserving right now, he would be surprising me, as he's going for P2 already. So is he switching up his strategy and saw what Hunter did? Maybe he's pushing Hunter and Zach to try to get them to wear their stuff off a little bit more. But then again, who's sitting back there behind him that's really good at saving as well? Tyler Dohar sitting there fourth. Jose Ruiz creeping up back up into the top 8. Mike York still making his run through the field. He's up +8, sitting 7th. There's a lot of guys sitting back here who I don't know if I would go out here and burn my stuff off. I don't know if maybe Byron just got too excited about his first run there in the first stage.
I tell you, Shad, it really could be. I mean, you see the 5 and the 17 of Hunter of Zach Meredith right now. They're back side by side, and look where the 5's passing his 17 back on the high side. He's going to have a little bit more momentum. He's going to have a little bit more throttle input coming off. 17's going to be able to stay low and just stay right at the left rear of the 5. Where does Byron go? I say he goes back to the high side, keeps the momentum, keeps the draft as well. Meanwhile, not on the bottom, not burning up his tires. And there they are now. 2 is going to be able to catch the 17. Earlier in stage 1, it took him a whole lot longer to get where he is. I think Byron wins this stage. What do you think, Shad?
I mean, the kid just keeps impressing me with how he's running. I mean, to your point, he's able to get up in the top 3 quicker than what he did in the first stage. He seemed to have the best car on the long run. Him and Peach were pretty close. And now that he's up where he's at right now, is he able to save his tires faster than what he did the last, stage? He's running the same line that he did the first stage, making the same moves. And I honestly don't think it's going to be too long before maybe he gets beside that 5 car and maybe takes the lead and then paces the field and see. Then maybe Peach will learn where Byron is making up all his time on him, as he didn't know exactly where he found it in the first stage. So I don't know, Kurt, but to me, that 2 car, he looks mighty fast.
Yeah, I think Byron's got the fastest car out here.
We got a wreck. No caution, though.
Looks like it's Gary Huffman's up in the wall there.
Oh, they're wrecking
He's
still.
going to come
coming
down
off
pit
the-
road. There's another set there crashing out in front of, I think it's Elrich George and I don't know who the other car is there. I think it's Chris Murphy.
21 of Chris Murphy.
Wow, and no caution, too. 3 cars parked on the front stretch and no caution. That's odd.
That's a strange one. I tell you what, on Sunday night I saw a couple, and not only that, last night during the Shake and Bake race,
Oh, and there's a
I had a
caution.
car that was planted into the outside wall nose first. No caution flew at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Alpha York was out there in chat and goes, "Where is the caution?" So yeah, I guess iRacing is getting a little lax with the caution procedure, but looks like I'm guessing Pop Bear might have put this one out manually. First caution of the night, other than the stage break, working lap 46 of 140, less than 100 to go. Shad, so these guys were all in not too long ago. Do they come down? Do they come down now, or do they have enough sets for the night to spend a set?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many sets Papa Bear allotted for them tonight, but if they have enough for, probably 2 pit stops and maybe an extra set for the third stage, then I'm taking
They
the
got
next.
7
I'm
sets.
taking those tires now. Yeah, I'm taking tires now. If anything, after watching the first stage go green the entire time, there's no reason, even though they just had this caution, that the rest of this second stage can't go green. From what I'm seeing, it looks like the 4 car came down a little bit onto the 21 and made the 4 go into the wall, and the 21 and a couple others went down to the apron, and the 21 ended up just losing it coming off the apron and collected the 40 of Michael Elrich. So unfortunate for the 40 car and unfortunate for the 21, but yeah, if I'm anybody right now, I'm coming down and taking tires. If anything, it's going to help you in 10 laps.
Well, let's go take a look at this caution here. I'm trying to find who it was. They're not on track for some reason.
You go to the 21 and back it up, you'll definitely see it.
All right, there we go. All right, so Chris gets loose on the bottom out of 4, comes right up into the field, collects Elrich George.
Back it up even farther.
Was he avoiding the 4 car?
No, yeah, back it up. You'll see what happens. 4 comes down on him a little bit on the straightaway.
All right, so there's the 4.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and just bounces it off the wall there. Comes down on the 21. 21 tries to gather it back up. That apron, though, is a pretty steep apron, and he just gets collected and spins it around. Elrich George has nowhere to go and runs right into the back of the 21. 4 spinning around behind them. So, yeah, not much that Chris could do with that, with getting hit by the 4 there after bouncing off the wall, and then nothing the 40 could do as he was trying to avoid everything. And Chris was trying to get it going, and that banking just collected him and threw him sideways.
Yeah, that banking, if you get 2 tires down the apron, 2 tires on the track or right around that white line, you're going to upset the balance of the car, and it's just a matter of time before it goes around, especially on the corners. You might be able to get away with it a little bit in the tri-oval and on the straightaway between the apron and the track, but in the corners, not so much. As you're turning, it's getting looser and looser, and before you know it, you're having to correct on that wheel. But the 5 back out front, Zach Meredith right there. But how about Mike York? Up 12 spots right now, sitting P3 in that number 8 Chevrolet. Byron Jones and Tyler Doar. So we got a new driver kind of putting himself inside this top 5.
I think Byron's going to have to talk to his pit crew because his pit stop was a 14.7, which is the slowest out of the top 8. And obviously he lost a few positions last time on pit road as well after the first stage. So he's going to have to talk to his pit crew and figure out what's going on down there in that stall. But, yeah, Mike York has been coming hard. He's up 11 positions. He has been just methodically kind of picking off people and coming up through the field. And now he's sitting here P4. Does he put a challenge on those 2 at the front who've been there most of this race now that he's a newcomer? I do like that paint scheme right along with Byron's. Both of them side by side there. It looks pretty cool. But, yeah, Byron, I think he needs to talk to his pit crew or figure out something with iRacing because he's getting the short end of the stick when it comes to this.
Yeah, Shad, we'll have to share a little bit of wisdom with him about getting into and out of his pit stall. You know what I mean. I won't say it again because you yelled at me the last time. But yeah, we'll have to impart a little bit of wisdom on the young buck. But yeah, I'm kind of liking that 213 Simware number 8 for Alpha York or Mike York right now on the inside of Byron's. Got to kind of close it up a little bit. Pace car is going to be coming off, making that left turn towards pit road very soon, and we're going to go back racing.
Do either of you change your picks? I don't know if you made a pick.
I got to go with my guy.
I kind of figured
especially as seeing how strong he is right now. Oh my God.
Shad, you swapping up from Jose Ruiz, who's sitting back there in 8th?
I would, but Pete took my second pick, so I don't know. I mean, maybe Hunter.
You know, double down.
But, yeah, we could. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You could split the
feel
2.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't know. That 2 is strong. I know you said he lost the spot, but I think that actually benefited him because he could start on the outside. And
Well, clearly did because he
look
jumped
at
right
the
back to
moves he's
3rd.
already making. So I think it benefited him losing that spot on pit road. Maybe his pit crew's been hitting the casino too much for those free drinks, but helped him out there. Only losing one spot, starting on the high side. So now he's got what do we got? Like 20 laps, something like that. That he's got time to work on the leaders. So
I mean, he's
keep it
battling
going,
for
Byron.
P2 already with the 17 of Zach Meredith. I mean, I kind of had two drivers in mind before we started this race. I had the 17, and then I had Tyler Dohar, and they're both sitting there third and fourth right now. Dohar's just hard to. Whoa, 24 of Cole Snyder getting really loose coming off of turn 4 there. Actually going through the grass a little bit, and actually almost took his teammate out of Nate Lehman. Oh, and he gets loose again and goes right into the wall.
Oh, we got
Big wreck back there. 24 up on the
Three
wall.
cars up into the outside wall. Yeah, hard shot. Ugh.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that
the
one.
day of probably all three of them.
Yeah, because we got no fast repairs in Turn Down for What's Next Gen series, but I'm going to pull this up real quick because that was a weird one. Like I said, Cole got loose off of 4, and he saved it. And then all of a sudden, it just snapped right on him, but it was through the tri-oval and going right before Turn 1 that it did that. So let me get back here and find Cole, see if he
Net
had any
code.
help.
Yeah, net code from what number
Is that the 48?
A Roku car, whoever that is.
Oh, that's horrible netcode. Wow. Yeah, let's let's take a look at this one again because that's horrible.
Pacey. Yeah, huge net
No,
code
that's
out of
Ryan
Pacey.
McCall in the 48.
No, it's not. It's not the 48 that touches him.
Yeah, watch.
It's Pacey.
Oh, wait, I gotta back it up. Oh, is it Pace? Oh, yeah, they're running both the same. Yeah, look at that net code there, Pete. Wow.
Yeah, that's really wow. I mean, that's like a foot and a half of net code.
And it double tapped him, too. And he tried saving it. He corrected it. He got low. He got almost into the grass. Got back through the tri-oval. And then we're getting ready to go into turn 1 here. And all of a sudden, it just wiggles on him and turns right into the wall. That's odd that it did that way after he got loose. And he blew an engine right there, too. So.
Yeah, I think that's him, the 77, the 69. All three of them are probably done for the night. Looking at some of their tires, they're not moving when they should be.
Yeah.
Yo, it's funny. Well, I don't want to say funny, but Mama Bear out there in chat saying it was a close one for the 88 the other night during the Truck Series race. Yeah, Mike Allen sat on pit road, I want to say for 42 laps, repairing his motor. He just had smoke billowing from underneath the hood. He sat there and waited it out, and eventually he was able to get back out there, run some laps for Christine's Warriors, and help bring just a little bit more awareness with that beautiful, pretty in pink, I guess we'll say, Silverado that he was running. But yeah, tonight right back with Christine's Warriors colors again. And hey, anything can happen here in Sin City.
Yeah, I'm looking at that 88. He has a little bit of damage on the right front. Other than that, it looks pretty good. I think the guy that
Ooh, there's a
actually
little more
comes
than a
out
little
of
bit of
this
damage on the right front.
really lucky is that 21 of Chris Murphy was involved in the first wreck. He got into the back of that 24 that kind of finished him off, and his car looks pretty good still. So we'll see how much speed he actually still has in that even after the first wreck. So count his blessings and keep stacking up those chips.
Some of this Las Vegas theme of nouns or whatever that we're throwing out here is getting a little bit much. But anyways, I'm trying to keep thinking of new ones to say, and you guys are just spitting them out like you had them pre-written down. But
years and years, buddy. Years.
If you just Clark, keep watching Vegas Vacation.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, we're about halfway through this second stage here. We're getting close. Actually, no, we're only 5 laps from the end of the second stage. So I don't know if I would have pitted right there, and I think a lot of them didn't. Nate Lehman did, though, so I'm not sure why Nate did. He came down. It looks like he only did fuel only, though. He was only in for 5.6 seconds. He didn't pit during that first caution, so kind of a wondering why he would have came down for this one with only 5 laps to go, or 4 laps to go when they go green.
He possibly could have been checking to see if he had any damage.
You know why I think Byron Jones is so fast? For years and years, Wayne Newton has had his own show at Las
Here we
Vegas.
go.
I think this young buck, he's just waiting and
You don't even know
really
who Wayne Newton is.
hard. Well, I do, but you know what? I know Byron Jones. He knows who Britney Spears is,
Oh, geez.
and I'm betting he is just
I don't even know if he's old enough to know who Britney Spears
hard
is.
on that throttle pedal, wanting to go see Britney Spears for her residency in Vegas. I'll bet you that's what that is.
Eh,
I don't even know if I'd go see that.
yeah. Byron's a little younger than Britney
Oh,
Spears.
come on. You let her hit you one more time. Who you kidding?
No. I'd probably let her tear my heart out since Backstreet Boys are there, but
Oh, Jesus.
no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think Byron's a little young to know what the original Britney Spears was, other than the lice and everything else that she's been through.
Oh, my God.
But
Way to ruin an image for a 17-year-old.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
back to Byron Jones, I think he's all in on the high side.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's got a full house, I'm sorry, he's got blackjack sitting on the side of his car. He's already, rolling 21.
Blackjack's back here in the 21 car.
What? Yes, you're right.
Yeah, see,
Let's go.
Blackjack. All right, let's get it rolling again here to finish out the second stage. Hunter Beach, big jump there for the stage start, or the race start here, and Zach Meredith following him right through. That's also the 88 of Mike Allen up here. Nope, sorry, that is Kyle Taub. As actually their paint schemes look similar, except Mike has more pink on it. But Kyle Taub up here for 4th. First time we've seen him in the top 5 tonight. Byron Jones sitting there on the outside, going to take that position away. The 78 of Tyler Dohar gets right back to the 4th position. And then the 00 of Pacey Wyden sitting there in 6th right now, up 14 positions. He's now our biggest hard charger. And does Byron get to Hunter Peach or Zach Meredith before the end of the stage, Pete and Chad? I don't know. It's close. He's going to have to battle Zach and Hunter. And Dohar's not looking like he's going to give up on this either.
Well, he's already on the outside of Meredith. Now, question is, where does Hunter Peach block? Does he block the bottom or block the top? You can only be in one spot at a time, and right now, that man on the high side and that that deuce, I think I want to give him some dirty air because he is just high, wide, and handsome up there, and I think it's going to be here, probably on this backstretch. He gets by Meredith, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to get to Peach.
Him and Dohar are working together, though.
Yep, I was just going to say, if Dohar went up there with you, you know you're in the right line, as it looks like the Deuce found a hole on the bottom. He's going to go ahead and pull low, leaving Dohar all to himself. Now everybody down on the low line, 78 up high. And yeah, now the 2 has the draft of the 5. But at this point, you like Shad just said, you don't want that dirty air. Get back to the line that you've been running all night long, that you've proven to be fast, proven to have the speed on the long run. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to the end of stage number 2, but do what you know works.
This is going to be the end of stage 2 right there, as Hunter Peach is going to win stage 2 again, 2 in a row. Byron Jones coming home second, both stages. Zach Meredith and Tyler Dohar battling it out for 3rd and 4th right there. I think Dohar clipped Meredith for 3rd place at the end of that stage. But I got to mention the comment that's out there in the chat. Dale Fan 8, which is, I believe, Jeff Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's Byron's grandmother.
Oh, Byron's grandma. Okay, sorry. Byron's grandma out there saying, nope, he don't know who Brittany is. But number 77, his dad was her biggest fan. And that would be Jeff Jones out here on track in the 77 as I pull him up to highlight him. I'm not surprised by that answer, actually. Just based on age groups. Like I said, Brittany probably is not an age group for Byron. I mean...
Does that mean we're all old enough to be Byron's daddy?
Yeah, I think so.
Shut up!
I think so. I mean... Technically, I will be 36 this year. Byron's, what, 18?
God.
So, I guess that is possible.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so
Y'all are killing me.
Pete could be Grandpa though.
Okay.
Oh, Grandpa Pete.
I really got a long day at work tomorrow. I should really hit the hay.
Yeah, old
You know,
people
this
go to bed
old
early, don't
man-
they? You got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, just sit at the kitchen table and drink coffee.
I'll be up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday waiting for your youngin' butt to get here.
Oh, you'll
first
probably
so
be
we can
waiting.
head to Charlotte.
I ain't gonna be there at 5 a.m. I can tell you that. Most time I don't even go to bed till 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, good thing I'm driving, huh?
Maybe. I might just pull up and lay on the horn, tell you to get in the truck and let's go.
Ah.
But yeah, end of stage 2 there. You know what? I'm not going to pull our stage winner. We just talked to Hunter. I'm not going to bother him. I'm actually going to go and grab the Britney Spears fan and see if we can talk to Jeff. First time up in the booth.
Let's go.
Mr. Jeff Jones, do you have a copy of this of Swats Pete and Shadilak up in the booth?
What's going on, guys?
I just found out some interesting information about yourself, I believe from your own mom out in the chat. We were sitting here talking about Byron, maybe, or your son, going out here and maybe going to Vegas and maybe watching Britney Spears since she's out there. But she let us know that you actually are a huge Britney Spears fan, apparently, back in the day. So just wanted to bring you up here and talk about that.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, there's a picture of Brittany on the wall right here next to me that's autographed. It's been around for a while. So,
Oh, jeez.
no, it's all good. No, it's oops, I did it again is all I can say. But yeah, no, it's all fun and games till we bring up Britney Spears. So, but it's been a rough race is all I can say. Got plowed there a couple laps ago after a career high qualifying for me. But yeah, no, it's having a good time out here, just trying to get my stuff fixed to be somewhat competitive.
So you're going to come back out and get hit one more time?
Yeah, that's the
In
way it goes.
summertime?
You guys know this is my first time around for this league, so my goal is top 20, and I think I should be able to get that tonight. So.
I think you missed my references there.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
All right, we're going to send you back down here. I believe you were down in, where were you at? Were you in KS Gaming's?
Yes, sir. I was with
You
all
were
the
in
boys in
mine.
KS Gaming.
All right.
Have a great night, guys. Enjoy.
All right.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Jeff.
looking at your poster.
Okay, thanks.
I actually had a poster of my own.
I don't want to know.
I had a few different posters, actually. But, yeah, I didn't think Byron...
Pokemon doesn't count.
I never actually got into Pokemon. I was a Yu-Gi-Oh
Boy
fan.
bands.
I was a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, not a Pokemon fan.
I know, you didn't even know who fucking Pikachu was.
The wife is yelling at me because I didn't know who Pikachu was. But, yeah, Pete and Shad, this third stage is going to be interesting because we're going to have that stop. If we don't have any more cautions and we go green here, they're going to have that green flag stop. What do you do as drivers? You two have more experience on this track than I do. Do you split this stage of 80 laps? We've seen them run 30, 35. Well, 30 is the most for the stages, or 31. But we've heard 35 is the most as actually, who was that? Was that Byron that just peeled off to go down pit road to get extra fuel?
Yep.
All right, so that's going to put, you know, the fuel run was 35, 36. If it's 80 laps and we go back green here, they're going to have, what are we, 65 laps into the race, so it's going to be close.
Yeah, looks
Byron-
like
Byron ain't
Mike
the only
York.
one doing it.
Yeah, Tyler Dohar, Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy, Jeff Lednam, they all went down pit road to go ahead and top off, get the most that they can out of a new tank of that Sunoco E15. Rip on out and do what you got to do. But yeah, so working lap 65 of 140, getting close to that halfway point. Yeah, I'm right with what you just said. The only thing, and Shad, you could definitely correct me if I'm wrong. It was about 25 to almost 30 laps in before we saw that caution. About 20 to 25 laps. So are these cars getting loose right around that time that they're getting to be a little bit more of a handful? It definitely looked like Netcode had something to say about those, but in order for Netcode to happen, those cars got to be just that close. So we'll have to see how the cars handle a little bit later in the long run, but I think we're going to see just that, Chad. we're going to see that long run now.
Yeah, I think these cars actually get tight on the long run. I'm not sure why we're almost 3 wide coming
Yeah.
to the start here. 15, get back in line there, buddy.
Yeah.
As Lehman's going to lead them to the green. He's going to get on that loud paddle and get out front first. As we know, they'll probably get reeled back in before they even reach turn 3. But to your point, Byron made that extra pit stop. He's coming out 6th. So if he can make this on one stop, which if he's trying to do that, then his best place is to be in the draft right now. Don't go up there and have a lead laps unless you know for sure you can make it on one stop. Even being out front, stay in the draft, save as much as you can, and try to make it a one-stop race, because these guys up front that can't, you're never going to make up that time on the track of coming down pit road in extra time. So definitely look out to see when these leaders pit and how much farther the 78 and the rest of those guys that came down and topped off can go. I don't know, Kurt. Looks like that 5 car doesn't care about how much gas he has. He's getting to the out front already.
Yeah, I think Byron, it's going to be close. I mean, Zach said somewhere between 35 and 40. If that's the case, he could split it. I don't think he needs to conserve that much. For Byron, Dohar, Pacey, those guys that came down pit road there, I really don't think they need to conserve that much. But being in the draft is definitely going to help them. We saw those guys kind of lay back at the start of each one of these restarts, and they were able to just power through on the long run. If we do get that long run, I don't know if anybody else can make it besides those guys that just came down on one stop. That's a huge strategy, because if we do have a caution that comes out later in the run, those guys could then come down and get fresh tires. Byron and those guys will most likely come down again as well. That resets the strategy. It really depends on what Byron and Dohar and those guys that just pit right now, what they do right in this early part of the third stage. If they go hard and they can make it on one stop and there's no caution, they're fine. If they go hard and they can make it in one stop and there's a caution that comes out midway through the second half of this third stage, it resets the field and the strategy, but they're up front. If they lay back, then they're stuck where they're at, and they're going to have to pit with everybody anyways.
Yeah, right now I'm on board with the 14, just trying to see if he's clutching it at all, and he's not. These guys are barely even out of the throttle, maybe for a half second to a second going into these turns, and for the most part they're right back into it. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what these guys pit on, and does that mean they ran it dry to get to that lap? If so, then we'll be able to tell if they'll be able to make it the rest of the way. But definitely having more fuel and coming out 6th, I mean, I can't blame Byron and them for doing that. So
Byron's almost 3/10 faster than the leaders. Or
yeah,
it's
well,
2/10,
draft
2.5
helps.
tenths.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's got a huge whip for the draft right now, and he's chasing cookies too. So, yeah, he's got a very, very fast Ford Mustang GT, chasing down, but everybody's chasing down that number 5 Camaro. And Hunter Peach, winning both stages. He knows that he's got a fast piece. He's seen Byron, come stalking a little bit later in the stage. We'll have to see how it shakes out. They came out of pit road on lap 65, so that's 35 laps to 100. And yeah, if they can go 35 to 40, they might be right on the number. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens right around lap 105. Who comes in early, who's able to save a little bit and come in later, because not only are you betting on the right amount of fuel that you've got in the car, but also you're gambling on 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, and are they going to carry you the rest of the way? And oh, by the way, do we get that late race caution? Who's all in, who's not?
Listen to Pete just spit out those Vegas
Yeah, I
references.
mean, everybody's gambling. We're in Vegas.
I have to say though, for Byron, he's in the perfect position. He's the first car that came down to get topped off. He's got 3 spots ahead of Dohar, who's the second car to do that. But my shout out goes to that 48 of Ryan McCall. I mean, up here running top 5 almost all night. It's showing speed, maybe not race-winning speed, but he's definitely shown to be a top 5 car, which, you know, is something awesome because I don't think we've really ever seen him up here. And that car looks really good with
like
those
it too.
chromed out purple stripes. So, you know, congrats to him for running this strong, but hopefully he'll top it off with a solid top 5 finish.
Yeah, and Pete and Chad, anybody in the top 5 that you're going to watch? Anybody you in particular out of the top 5 that are not in the top 5 that you would say have a shot to come up here and maybe steal this away? Actually, I'm going to go outside the top 7 because those guys were up front earlier. So I'm going to go outside the top 7. So Pacey, Mike York, Chris Murphy, Mike Allen, Jose Ruiz, Jeff Ludnam, Mike Campbell III, those guys. Out of any of those guys, who would you be watching out of that group?
I would say Pacey, considering he started 20th, was up to 8th. Seen him, you know, I think up to 7th was where he's been able to make it the highest. So he's obviously shown he's got the ability to pass cars, but does he have that ability to save those tires? And then, you know, just another guy who's been involved in 2 wrecks and is somehow up in 10th place, and that's at 21 of Chris Murphy. Although in the first stage he's shown that he wasn't the greatest in the long run, kind of burned up his tires, and how much speed is really left in that car after being involved in 2 wrecks, how much was he able to get fixed? So, but I would say guys that maybe can steal this is that 00 Pacey, but my eyes still on that Deuce. I'm putting everything on black for that Deuce.
I tell you, talking about inside the top 5, you got to look at Tyler Dohar. The man is absolutely consistent, knows how to save tires, absolutely a master of saving fuel as well. The guy does the calculations right from the get-go. As soon as he gets a feel of what kind of gas he's using lap after lap within the first, 10 laps, give or take of a race, he knows what he's got to do. And when a caution flies or stage ends, he's able to recalculate all that again. Outside of the top 5, I tell you what, Jose Ruiz is a guy that you can never sleep on either. The man's consistent, knows how to get the most out of his car. Sometimes he finishes really, really strong. Other times, luck doesn't exactly go his way and ends up getting collected with other people's issues. So there's a couple, but man, I'm all in on this Deuce. Hoping he's not going to roll snake eyes.
Hey, Kurt, go to the cockpit of the 78 car. Tell me what you notice when he comes into turn 3.
Clutching. That's why I was kind of wondering why he wasn't charging through the field. I was kind of thinking he was probably clutching, so I was going to stay off of him. But since you asked about it, I went inside the cockpit. But
he is clutching it, and it is making his car extremely loose when he gets back on it. So how long can he do that for before that car finally gives up that right rear? But yeah, he is clutching it, so it must be close. Now, does he have the ability to do that, or does he think he can make it without doing it?
I'm gonna Swats, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna guess that Byron is not clutching it. I've been following. Nope, actually I take that back. I just jumped on board with him.
So did I.
He is also very much clutching.
He's not clutching it as long as Tyler is, though.
No.
I don't hear Hunter clutching at all. So, but looking at the lap times, I mean, yeah, Hunter's 0.2 faster than Byron. He is 0.2 faster or 1/10 faster than Dohar. But they've got the extra fuel. So I think Hunter's probably relying on that caution coming out at some point here and messing up those guys that did come down and took that extra fuel. But I mean, looking at the lap times, I mean, there's guys back here running 3 or 4 tenths faster than Byron and Dohar, and they're making their way through the field. Zach Meredith, one of them, he just ran a 31.398, which is 7 tenths faster or 6 tenths faster than Byron's. But he's stuck back here behind Pacey and this whole group of cars. I mean, there's 6 cars out in front of Meredith. So he's kind of stuck here. Now that draft's probably helping with his speed as well. But I mean, there's a whole group of cars that are just kind of riding right now. And actually, as I say that, Byron slipped and fell all the way back. He is back to 4th right now, being run over by these guys.
Yeah, riding on board with him, Shad. He is very, very loose, the same as Doar when getting back on the throttle. I think he was tiptoeing when he saw the 8 and the 48 come up underneath him, because he's already turning that wheel to the right even before he gets back on the throttle, and he's actually clutching it much, much earlier than he was before. I think he might be taking a book or taking a page out of Dohar's book. If I'm not mistaken, him and Dohar are probably in the same.
They are.
Yep, in that same chat together, right along with Pacey and Josh Roberts and
Chris
Jeff
Murphy,
Lednum,
Jeff
Mike
Lednum, they're all
Concho, and a
together.
few other people. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dohar did say something like, "Oh, I'm clutching it."
I don't know if he would tell them.
On that. He might not have.
I don't
but
think he would tell them that he's clutching.
Byron
But
started doing it a couple laps later than Dohar did.
I think Byron's got our stream pulled up though. So, but real
Yeah,
quick,
he
I'm gonna
might.
throw us into a side-by-side and watch some commercials here. We'll take a quick break, get a swig of drink, get ready for these final about 50 laps when we come back. So stay tuned for the winner of Las Vegas, and we'll talk to him. And we're going to crown a regular season champion as well. If that champion does not win the race, we'll have 2 different burnouts at the end of the night as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We've got Hunter Peach out to a big lead, about almost 3 seconds over Mike York in the 8 car. We've had a couple cars that we've noticed are clutching, are saving, and they are giving up a ton of time to the guys that are not saving. Those guys that did come down pit road, right now it's Tyler Dohar out in the lead of those guys that did pit. But Pete and Shad, we've noticed Hunter Peach is pulling away even further and further. These guys are letting him get away. Is that going to be a bad strategy for the guys that did go down and pit? Or are they just waiting for that one stop that they need to finish this race and hoping that Hunter has to pit twice?
It's really going to come down to exactly what we were just talking about. What's going to happen right about lap 105? If Hunter's got to come down a couple laps earlier than everybody else, he's going to have to save. So he's going to be in the boat that the 2 and the 78 and the 8, the 00 and a couple others have been in since this restart. And Chad, I said we were going to see a long green flag run. Here it is, and this is where everybody's strategy is going to come out to play.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the guys that are out there clutching it like Dohar, like Byron Jones, your bet is made. You've already allowed the leader to get out over 5 seconds in front of you. You better hope that you can make it on just one stop, and he cannot, because if not, then you pretty much just wasted your time doing all of this. But if he does have to pit, this race is going to come down between probably 2 cars, and that's going to be the number 2 and the 78. As I
Don't
think
count
right
out Jose
now,
Ruiz. He's sitting right there in 5th.
he is, but I don't hear him clutching it. So can he make it as far as them is the question. He has been in the draft, so you were able to save some fuel there, but has he been able to save as much as these guys who are clutching it? So only time will tell. And when does Hunter come down?
Yes, Watts, I think this is actually going to tell the tale. Jose Ruiz not clutching it. Came down the same lap as Byron, Dohar, York, and Pacey on lap 64.
Meredith is down now.
Hunter Peach. Hunter Peach also coming on down pit road. So here it is, working lap 98. Now, if the other guys go another 7 laps, 6 now, as these guys come to the line, then we'll know that they're good to go. But what happens here with Jose Ruiz? He's been on the throttle the entire time. Is he going to show that, Byron Jones and Dohar and a couple others, hey, you don't have to clutch it. You don't have to risk being that loose, getting back on the throttle, coming off after clutching it. So, man, it'll be interesting. Jose, he's usually very, very good. We'll have to see if he's had to save like the other guys felt they did.
I hate to say it, but we forgot about somebody who actually came down pit road as well this whole time. We've been talking about Byron and Dohar and Ruiz. But the guy leading the race right now, Mike York, he came down the same time as those guys. He came down and refueled, or just, stacked a little bit more fuel in there. And he's currently the first driver of those guys that came down. However, I don't think he is saving.
He is.
Oh, is he?
I just going into turn 3, I heard him shut it off and get right back on it again.
Yeah, I don't think he's been doing it as long as Dohar and Jones. I think he just started picking it up, which allowed him to get out front. So how much farther does he really gain now doing that? We'll see when he pits compared to Jones and Dohar. But yeah, he is on the same strategy as far as when he pit, but not on the same strategy as when he started saving.
So make sure you're watching this, because Ryan McCall is coming to pit road right now. He just ran 39 laps. He's going to complete his 40th lap on pit road. There is 39 to go. Does he have enough fuel on this one stop as well? And the rest of the guys, they should have enough. Nate Lehman's still out there on track as well. He just completed his 40th lap. There's 39 to go. They all should be able to do it on one stop. So that means the guys that came down here a bit early, they're going to be 3 or 4 laps short, which means almost everybody out there on track is going to be good to go.
45
8's
and 14 pitting now.
Boy, 8.
that was a late
going to be a bit. Yeah.
Ooh, Ruiz too. Both of them kind of late. Tyler Dohar and Byron and Pacey staying out on track to complete a few more laps. Now they're going to have some extra rubber compared to these guys who came down this late, and they're going to have even more against the guys that came early with Zach Meredith and Hunter Peach and those guys. But how much further does Byron and Tyler and Pacey and Chris Murphy go? I don't know if they should continue to go, more than another lap or two. The only thing is if they do, they won't have to conserve like these guys might have to. And now, can the rest of them conserve? 43 laps is when they pitted, or that's when Meredith pit. Can he conserve?
Byron coming down this time.
I think that's a good move by Byron.
Yep, I think Dohar's going to come down this time as well.
I was going to say, come one lap before Tyler. That's what I would do.
Yep.
See, there goes Hunter, who pit first, or pit with Zach Meredith. He was the leader and went down first of the leaders. So Tyler looks like he's out of fuel or something because he's coasting.
Yeah, he's not out of fuel, but he definitely got on the pit road very, very gingerly. No, pushing it to the max for him coming across the start stripe. He was very, very timid all the way in.
All right, now Hunter's back and forth right now. He's coming around turn 3 and 4. Those guys are just hitting their pit stalls now.
Byron went through a little bit on his pit stop.
Yeah.
All right, so Hunter is now going to assume the lead back, and those guys are just now leaving their stalls. They're going to be about a half track behind Hunter by the time they get going with speed. Can they run him down? Or do they even need to?
Does Hunter have to pit again?
I don't know. It's so close on fuel. I mean, the 48 looked like he might have been out of fuel when he came, and he ran 40 and was running to 41 when he was coming down pit road. 43, that's a lot for Zach Meredith. Hunter Peach, he pit 8 laps ago, so he pit 43 as well. I don't know. I don't hear him saving, so I guess we're going to find out how far he can stretch this thing. Or he's going to come down for a short pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, only he knows whether he had a little bit more in the tank to go an extra couple laps, but decided to go ahead right about the turn of the century mark, right around lap 100, and grab those 4 Eagle Feel Goods, go ahead and fill it up, and do what he could with them. Or was he literally just about out of fuel? Only he knows.
I'm wondering if this actually suited Mike York the best. He comes out, he's sitting third. He's got enough fuel to make it to the end. The question is does he get run down by the guys who, pit 2-3 laps after him?
Well, Mike York, I actually jumped on board with him, Shad, and yeah, he is clutching. So he's not 100%.
Is he clutching for a green-white checker?
Feeling like he can. Yep, that could be too. Yeah.
We got Mama Bear out there in chat saying strong finish. Yeah, I think this is going to be a strong finish. I don't know if I see a caution coming out, Pete and Chad. The way that these guys have ran this part of the third stage, the way they ran the first stage, second stage, guys just got a little bit weird with the net code, and obviously the 4 bounced it off the wall and came down to the 21. But other than that, they've been super clean. So now that we've gotten spread out and guys are all over the place, the only way I see a caution coming out is if somebody gets loose on a long, long run, which we have a couple guys here who are going to try to attempt that. And we saw how bad Tyler and Byron were getting loose with clutching. So, I mean, right now, look, Dohar right behind the 8 of Mike York was Zach Meredith, who pit early. And then you have Ryan McCall, Jose Ruiz, Byron Jones, again, not having a good night on pit road. His pit crew failed on the first 2 times, and then he drove through a stall there on that green flag stop. So this is, I think, the battle right here for the win.
Yeah, jumping on board with Tyler Dohar now. I'm actually trying to get back to him as we speak to see if he's back to clutching it, coming across the start stripe, staying in the draft of the A8's actually going to go ahead and split these guys, split the 69, and pull to the outside of the 4, staying right there with the 80. Pretty much forced that hole all the way through. Let's see, going down the backstretch, all the way down the Nellis straightaway, getting into 3. I don't hear a clutch at all.
I'll tell you somebody that is clutching is Byron Jones, who pitted at the same lap as Dohar.
think the idea for Byron is he's 3 seconds back from Brian McCall. He's 4 seconds back from Zach Meredith. He's 6 seconds back from Dohar and York. I think at this point for Byron, his idea is I'm going to conserve enough for green, white, checkered. I can't run those guys down because we're on the same set of tires. I'm far enough back that it would burn off my stuff if I try to run them down. I think he's kind of sitting where maybe those guys don't save enough. Maybe I have enough for a green, white, checkered. I can be out front, or something of that idea. I don't see him clutching to try to get to them. It's just not going to work. So I think he's kind of looking at his strategy of I need to try to conserve. Ooh, and somebody just went down. Who was that?
Meredith.
Was that Meredith?
Meredith hit the wall. He's got a flat right front.
No caution. Oh, yeah, he's got a broke front.
Look at his side-by-side battle between the 8 and the 78. 8's up top, and just as I say that, of course, they're going to go back nose to tail. 78 is not done battling on the bottom. 8 car's kind of pinching him down just a bit. That way Dohar cannot get back in the throttle when he needs to in order to carry all that speed up off the corner. Again, Shad, you know just as well as I do, when you're coming to these kind of places, you need to straighten out that wheel as soon as you possibly can. Kind of flatten the curve, as the old Waylon Jennings song says. And, looks like 78 able to prevail, but what was the cost? How much of that right front did he really have to spend in order to pass the 8?
Yeah, I'm just curious, because obviously with that last fuel stint these guys just ran, I mean, they had like 4 caution laps under that. They had no caution laps on this run. So, I mean, can they actually run what they ran before? Because Byron's clutching it like they can't. So, I'm watching Dohar. He's not. Michael York, as actually the 5's coming down this time, so there it goes to show you he could not make it on one stop. But I'm curious now with Byron, the way he's clutching it, does that mean Dohar, if he's not doing it, can he make it? And I don't know. I think Byron, he's pretty good. He's learned a lot on how to save fuel and what he needs to save. He played it right off the bat of saving, and maybe Dohar is hoping to do it later after he gets the lead. I don't know, but I'm hoping Byron figured it out. And this isn't just costing him time.
Well, Dohar actually just started clutching it again as well, so I'm going to guess if he was feeling pretty confident about being able to make it the rest of the way, I'm going to guess either his SDK or his sim racing app tools just told him otherwise, and he's had to start backing it off again before he's got to go back to the bank and look for another loan to play a few more slots.
There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm really confused with it. I don't even know where to go with it, because Dohar just now clutching to me means that he's going to be close. But why wouldn't he have been doing what Byron's doing? Why did he work so hard to get by York? I mean, he had 2 lap fresher tires than York. So I don't know why he's running so hard. I mean, he's running Taub down right now, but Taub is running 0.5, half a second slower than Dohar. So is Taub trying to conserve now to try to finish this thing out and try to get a top 10? He has really nothing to worry about as long as he doesn't finish last. And, I mean, he got good stage points, so I assume he's got the championship wrapped up. So he has nothing really to worry about going into the standings, but he doesn't have a win. I know he would probably want the win. So I don't, oh, he's going to come down pit road. There he goes. So that's going to relinquish the lead back to Tyler Dohar. And it looks like Hunter Peach is trying to get his lap back right now from Dohar. But that's going to leave Tyler Dohar in the lead, Mike York second, Byron Jones third, who's been saving this whole time. Is Byron saving too much? We know Dohar, he's pretty dang good at saving and knowing what he needs to save. And he's got all that special equipment and brand new stuff and stuff to help him and the way he drives and things like that. So did Byron save too early? Is he saving too much? I don't know. I don't know where anybody's at on this.
The only thing I can think of, Shad, maybe I could be wrong again. Lord knows it's happened before. The whole first fuel run since here in this stage, those guys were saving and saving and saving and saving. Did Dohar maybe start to realize just how much fuel he was spending, rather than saving, and maybe figured out that he didn't have enough? Meanwhile, Byron Jones says, you know what, I'm going to save a little bit. That way I have a little extra in the bank and then go for it later. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe he didn't realize just how early he'd be able to get back on the throttle versus coasting like he did the first half of stage 3.
Yeah, I mean, Byron, he picked up about 4/10 on Dohar that last time by. So, I mean, obviously he's been saving way longer than Dohar on this stint, so he can push it a little bit more than what Dohar obviously is in fuel saving mode. But I guess my question at the end of this is like you said, is Byron saving it so he can get to a certain mark on and then turn up the heat, or is he realized like I need to save from the get-go to be able to make it the rest of the way? And is Dohar going to get down to the end and realize, oh, I got to start shutting it off at the halfway point down these straightaways, and then Byron starts reeling them in more than over a second a lap? So I don't know. Only time's going to tell, and whether or not Michael York has done a good enough job of saving fuel as well. He's been clutching it for a while, but he came in before Byron and Dohar, so whether or not all three of them can make it to the end or who can't, I mean, we're only going to find out as we wind these laps down.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost. Like I said, Dohar's usually very, very good. Well, I wouldn't do well in Vegas, I can tell you that. On the track or off the track. I probably do better on the track than off the track, but Tyler's so good at figuring it out strategy-wise what he needs to do. He's got the sim racing apps pulled up. He's got fuel management figured out. I mean, he is conserving way more than Byron is right now, but Byron's been conserving since the drop of this run. So like I said, I don't know if Byron has conserved too much. Dohar is about 2.5 seconds out in front of Mike York. He's about 5.5 seconds out in front of Byron. We've got 14 laps to go. Byron, at this point, if he has not saved enough, he's not going to catch Dohar because he's going to have to turn it up. I mean, you're talking, he's running right now 0.2 faster. That's not enough to catch Dohar in 14 laps. He's going to have to turn it up and go. When is that? I mean, I would think it's now. If you haven't saved enough now, you're stuck. You might be able to get second if Mike York hasn't saved enough. He pit 2 laps before them. He started saving after Byron did. So is this a time that Byron needs to say, I need to go. I need to make that half second. I need to make that second every single lap until we get to the end of this to get to Dohar?
Right now, if it stayed the way it is, where Byron's gaining between 3 and 4/10, it's going to be about a half second to a second behind Dohar at the end of this. So somewhere in these next, 11 laps, 12 laps, Byron's going to have to flip the switch and just go. And
I mean, he's still saving.
Yeah, he's still saving. So Michael, does Dohar, is he going to be able to save enough, or is he going to run out with a half a lap to go? Because Byron's been saving the whole stint. So, I don't know.
I mean, he is gaining on him. He's gaining a tenth or
low.
two, but he is conserving at the same time and still gaining. I just don't know if he can gain without saying go. He just shook the car back and forth, so that doesn't make sense to me. But
That's that apron.
oh, okay. I was gonna say it looked like he was trying to figure out how much fuel was in there, but I mean, we're coming around to 10 to go once Dohar completes this lap. Like I said, at 12 to go, if I was Byron and I haven't saved enough, I'm sitting third or second the rest of the night. I'm not going to be able to get to Dohar. It's not going to happen unless Dohar runs out. That's the question: is does Dohar have enough? York, I don't think he has enough. He hasn't been saving as long as Byron or Dohar, and he pit 2 laps before them. So And we saw how much he was racing Dohar for that position. So I don't think York has enough, which means Byron finishes second again, which I'm sure he's going to be happy about, but I think he really wants that win. And then Dohar, I think he coasts.
Anymore.
Well, we'll see how much he makes this lap then. All right, so there's a lap. And barely half of a 100th.
Dohar don't look like he's saving either.
Well, that's what I'm saying then. So that would be my point of saying Byron saved too much. He saved for too long.
Yeah.
When
Either one
Dohar
of
was
them are
saving, if
saving.
I was Byron, I'd have been going. And then once Dohar started going again, if I didn't catch him, whoa! And Byron gets really loose there with Taub. I don't know if there was even contact there or if that was net code, but Byron went sideways through that tri-oval. And somehow saved it, but I think that pretty much clinches his night.
Yeah, 'cause now he's back over 5 seconds. Mike York, he's just a mere 1.9 behind Dohar now. So Mike York, last I looked at him, he was 2.5 plus. So Mike York starting to reel in the 78, but has he run out of time? Time's clicking down.
York's saving too. I don't know where the strategy is. I feel like we're 6 weeks ago when I was like, I don't think Dohar can make it, and Shab was like, I called it, but I just don't understand fuel management clearly, because I can't figure it out myself, and watching these guys, I don't think they can do it, and then they do it. So does Dohar win again and bring home his 4th win of the season tonight with now 6 laps to go? Mike York looking for his first win in the 213 Simware.com paint scheme, and Byron Jones still searching for his first win of his turn down for what career. Dohar got really loose off of 2.
Well, it looks like Mike Campbell III is down pit road. So is that's going to open up to the point of the closing laps now, where those that cannot go these last 5 laps to go now, without coming on down for just a splash and go. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm thinking Dohar, I know he runs sim racing apps. I don't know if Byron does, so I'm pretty sure Dohar knew what he had to hit for a fuel number, and obviously if he hadn't reached that yet, he wouldn't be full throttle around this place like he is now. Biggest concern for Dohar right now is if that car gets loose coming off of 2. But he's cruising right now. He's got a 1.7 second lead over York, so
he's got guys coming behind him on fresh tires.
Yeah, laps down. He just got to make sure he stays out of the way, doesn't get ran over.
Meredith's going to dive it in there. Ooh, that was a terrible line into that turn, but somehow it stuck. This is where the lap down car's got to stay away from him completely.
Yeah.
With how bad netcode's been tonight. They got to stay way away from that leader. Of course, if they wreck him, caution comes out, reset.
Don't put that on Dohar. You're probably going to be interviewed.
I'm just saying, those guys don't like each other much. Taub and Dohar have had history at 2 or 3 different tracks. But Dohar lets him go. He pulled down. He didn't let Taub go way down. He pulled down and let him go. 2 to go, Pete Chad. We got 2 to go with Tyler Dohar leading this race, looking for his 4th win of the season. Last race of the regular season, race number 10 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Then we will go into the playoffs. Does Tyler Dohar clinch that 4th win? I think I picked him early in the race.
I tell you what, Chad, Byron Jones, he has taken off a second in the last 5 laps. So he waited too long, and I'm going to guess that a little bit of an issue where he got loose coming through the trial will really might have taken the wind out of his sails, but doing that goes to show that he had the speed, but I think he might have saved too much. Maybe banking on a late race caution, maybe green-white checker is what he was saving for. But We'll find out here shortly because it looks like he will end up in the booth. P number 2 looks like it's going to be Mike York, Shad.
Shad, bring us to the checker.
Yeah, coming on 4, Dohar still under power, so he definitely knew the number to hit and hit it, as he's going to win his 4th race of the season. Looks like Michael York's going to come across P2 and Byron Jones coming across P3. Let's see, Pacey coming across right now for 4th. Hunter Peach, even though had to make that extra pit stop, come back to hit 5th. Jose Raziz, 6th. Chris Murphy involved in 2 wrecks, still able to finish P7. Brian McCall had a strong night, finishes 8th. Jeff Lednum comes across P9. And Kyle Taub, who had to make that last late pit stop, finishes up 9th. Oh, looks like McCall he jumped McCall. Not sure how that happened, but so yeah, that rounds out your top 10. Everyone else from 11th on is a lap down or more. So congrats to Dohar. Kurt, why don't you take him to Burnout Lane?
We're going to take Tyler Dohar to the championship, or the winning burnout, and then we'll go watch the 16 of Kyle Taub, who is going to be your regular season champion, with his burnout as well. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, we're back here for KS Game Broadcasting. Burnout Lane, top 3 are coming up to the booth, and our regular season champion is coming up into the booth as well. Shad and Pete, this was one awesome race to watch. A lot of strategy being played into this one. We've got being broadcasted, like I said before, early in the broadcast. We are on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and the Sim Racing channel on Roku. This was a Roku moment tonight for Tyler Dohar winning this race. Tyler, do you have a copy?
Hey, gotcha, guys.
Well, I guess the rest of the drivers should probably tell me to stop picking you, because I talked to you before this race about how you were feeling, with 3 wins going into this final race of the regular season, and if you had a shot, you and Zach Meredith were my picks tonight. both of you super strong early into this race. You came out with some strategy in the third stage. You and a few other drivers actually came down and topped off before we started this third stage, and you guys definitely were the ones to show up at the end here. All four of the final four were guys that came down and topped off at the end of that caution there and stretched it. So, what was your moment for tonight?
I mean, these cars are just so loose around here, Swats, to be honest with you. I kind of was doing math in my head just where the stage break ended and what we could maybe do. And I just threw a Hail Mary at it because I didn't think I had pace for the 5. I really didn't. I felt like him and the 2 were on a different plane when it came to the long run speed. You know, we were just me, the 17, the 16, York, the 48. We all had about the same level car. It's just we'd kind of get into sequences of like 5 laps where, you know, one guy would be stronger and then another guy would be stronger the next 5 lap sequence. And so we kind of would shuffle back. There wasn't really a consistent wear pattern. I mean, just threw a Hail Mary at it. The guys in the party wanted to do it. We were trying to figure out a way just to get Murphy up there and get some points to try to get him in the playoffs because he ran into an incident there and had some damage. And I said, well, this is what we're going for. So if you want to try it, let's try it. And so it was easy the first stint because we were able to run in line and pick some guys off. The more fuel load in the back, even though it was only like 0.2, 0.3 of a gallon by topping off, was actually critical to kind of keeping the rear end tight to the racetrack. And kind of helped us negotiate traffic there a little bit. I'm going to have nightmares of that pink and black 48 car forever because I felt like I raced him like harder than I've ever raced him. And same with York too. There, once we made the pit stop, I knew he had 2 laps on him. I mean, shout out to him for saving 38 laps on the final run, almost 39 laps. That's crazy. But I knew I just wanted to get in front of him and just kind of pace myself from there and kind of just let traffic cut through me. I was just so loose. I can't tell you how many times I almost lost it because driving the car so wonky, having to save all that fuel and do it without draft in that second run. So just lucky we did it. Again, you know, main goal was we wanted to just try to get playoff points as much as we could to cut into Kyle's lead that he's going to have with being the points leader. I think we might have ended the regular season standings in maybe 4th, maybe even got up to 3rd. So that would be some extra gravy for us playoff points wise, but we'll see how it shakes out. We did pretty decent in the stage. I think we got 3rd both stages. So all in all, a good race. Definitely not a winning car, but just had to, you know, kind of roll the dice there at the end and got lucky and rolled snake eyes.
Pete, Chad, any questions for our race winner, Mr. Tyler Dohar, on that 78?
Tyler, it's repeat as always. Fuel mileage came into play, and how much more or how much further would you have been able to go if if a green white checker was on tap for tonight?
If there was a green white checkered, I would have had to come in and pit. I think everybody would have, even Peach would have come in because we had enough tires. Now, if that last run is 76 laps instead of 75, based on when we went back green, it's probably a tighter conversation, especially for York and myself. I had 1 lap extra. That was all I allowed myself to have because I didn't want to oversave. But also, the more I clutched it, the more I was burning the right rear because of how I was driving it and the looser I was getting. So I really wouldn't have been more comfortable going any more laps than we really did. Maybe 1 more lap, we would have been fine. If that final run is 77 laps or more, no chance. We're just going to split it into thirds.
Hell of a race, Dohar. Good job one more time, sir.
Thanks, Pete.
Chad, Shad, you got any questions?
I mean, I think you've proven to be one of the better guys as far as when it comes to fuel saving, Tyler. And I guess my only question is, if it didn't come down to fuel saving, what do you think? I guess how close do you think it would have been between you and Byron? As he showed to have speed all night long. Just I think he saved too much fuel and didn't hit that number like you did. But do you think maybe he might have been able to get you if it wasn't fuel mileage race?
Yeah, I definitely think he would have. And honestly, I think we probably would have finished about 3rd like we did in both stages if it had gone just normal happenstance. Byron, that first run, he wanted to get out front. We wanted to try to get ahead of Lehman because we knew Lehman had stayed out and was on older tires, and we didn't want to lose Peach as much as we could. So he kind of pushed it really hard, and I kind of settled in with like Taub and McCall and just kind of rode with those guys for a little bit. And then when I was kind of regurgitating fuel numbers back to him, he was like, "Oh crap, I'm way off," and he just immediately backed off and backed up, to way behind me at that point. So he was kind of so focused on trying to keep the track position part, he just wasn't focused on the actual saving part. So um, I think that's where he kind of got in a hiccup there, and then we there was just so much separation with us because I was kind of able to stay with McCall and York there when the run kind of broke down into different groups, and we just kind of maintained 4 seconds behind Peach, and then about a second or two to Taub and those guys, and then about 4 seconds to Byron. So we just kind of managed the gap at that point. But yeah, if it comes down to if there was, let's say there was a caution at the end, I think because I would have been the leader, everybody would have pit again for tires. I had a shot to hold it off because our 3 to 4 lap speed was pretty decent compared to those guys, but if it was like a 10 lap run to the end or anything more than that, probably not a chance.
All right, Tyler, any last shout outs for you?
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to Papa Bear Campbell. You guys up in the booth, SWAT ×2 and repeat. Thanks guys for giving us a platform here, and all the competitors. Is awesome race. I think we only had one caution for incident, which is pretty remarkable because Vegas is a very, very tricky track, probably the trickiest mile and a half. I dare say it's trickier than Kansas, and Kansas can be a bear sometimes. But shout out to everybody for doing their homework, coming out and practicing. I know these guys put a lot of effort into it and time. It certainly shows. Then shout out, of course, to Elite Performance Industries, Michael Connie, Tyler Payne, those guys for all the help that they've done and bringing me along in my iRacing journey, and Blake Cook and Filter Time, and Swag.biz, Sean Blanchard's printing company and advertising company. Shout out to him for being a premier partner of mine for a while now, almost a year we're going on. So just past our year mark on the sim. We're in a good stride, and hopefully we carry it into the playoffs and maybe to the Final Four, and we'll see what Kansas holds.
All right, well, that's our winner tonight for Las Vegas, winning the 10th race of the season, going to close out the regular season. But before we get to second and third, I want to bring up this season's regular season champion, Kyle Taub, coming up into the booth tonight. Had a great car, looked really good. The fuel strategy, I think, came out with a little bit different for multiple different people there. But Kyle, your car, I mean, it looked awesome, first of all. I love the paint scheme. You do a great job with your paint schemes. Your, KT Designs has put out some awesome paint schemes. So, but what did you need to happen for you to get up here and battle it out for the lead? Was it just, a caution late in the third, or something more towards the middle that put you guys a little closer on fuel?
I probably should have trusted myself to save the fuel earlier in the run. Backed off kind of early just to settle in and keep the tires from going out. And then I decided, might be too much fuel to save, so pitted early and went to split the final stage into 3 runs.
Pete and Shad, any questions for our regular season champion? It's been a long season. I mean, it's only been 10 races, but it's felt long because these races are a little longer than we're kind of used to. But any questions for this regular season champion? Don't all talk at once.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I apologize. I was trying to keep quiet at a quick visitor in the room. But no, Kyle, definitely a big congrats, man. You've definitely come a long way from where you first started. Definitely showing some pretty big strides, showing a lot of speed, and to be able to kind of point your way into a regular season championship, very much like what Dohar did. I'm sorry, J-Pod did last year in the trucks, doing it without a W. Definitely shows you're a model of consistency, and yeah, man, big congrats to you.
Thank you, Pete.
All right, Kyle, any shout outs for you? Any friends, family out there, or anybody you want to thank for maybe helping you or anything like that?
Yeah. Big shout outs to CCR and CDR, both for sticking it out with me throughout these 10 weeks. And the feedback that they've provided during practices and races has been extremely helpful and allowed me to get the regular season champion.
Well, I definitely, shoot a huge congratulations to you. It's not easy being able to be that regular season champion, getting those bonus points going into the playoffs, and especially doing it without the win. I mean, it's only happened one or two times and turned down for what? That a guy who's a regular season champion with 0 wins goes in with the most points. And like Pete said, it just shows how consistent you have been through these 10 races. So, definitely a huge, huge shout out to your skill for this season. And we'll see if you can do it here in the playoffs with only 4 races. Consistency is key, and you've been obviously the most consistent driver with as many points as you've stacked up in the stages and in the end of the races. So, good job on that, and look forward to seeing what you can do in the playoffs.
Thank you, Kurt.
All right, Pete. We lost our other commentator here. He had to go because he's got to get up for work. So we're going to bring up second place, and that would be one of 2 of the 213 Sim Racing Gear guys. And that would be first Mike York, both of them driving 2 similar cars. I kind of lost track of who was who for a second there when I was looking at them. But these 2 paint schemes were awesome tonight. I loved both of them. I like black on the cars. I don't know if it's just a Dale Earnhardt thing or what, but obviously I'm loving the 8. Pete, that was your number. I'm gonna be a fan of the 8 from now on. Even though I was a Dale Jr. fan back in the day as an 8, but I'm for sure gonna be an 8 fan now with Kyle Busch moving there. But we've got Mike York here in the 8. Does not run every week. Came out tonight and looked really good and saved a bunch of fuel, like Tyler Dohar said. So, Mike, what do you got to say for yourself for this race, and what strategies were you trying to pull off here, and how did you save that much fuel?
Well, what's up, guys? Yeah, I seen Dohar was a couple cars ahead of me right before we went green for that last stage, and he dipped in the pit road, and I was like, I'm following that man, because I already knew what the fuel strategy was going to be, and seeing that some of those guys stayed out, I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pit now. They went a couple extra laps than I did. I was kind of pushing way too hard there, but as soon as I came out of pit road, it was fuel straight save. I was clutching, entering every corner. Before I even entered the corner, I was trying not to rev out until he got to me. I knew the race for the win was with him, and I battled it out there with him for a little bit, but I noticed my fuel was dropping dramatically as I was doing it, so I just let him go and was just trying to manage the gap back to Byron. And yeah, I ran out of gas in the middle of 1 and 2, so that's how much that's how much I had saved. So yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of battling going on there, and kept her clean. I never had a scratch on it, and that's a shock for me. So I didn't even clobber the wall or nothing. So no, man, a lot of strong racing there with Dohar and Byron and Tob and McCall, my teammate there. So yeah, we were working together, and once I seen those guys dip down to top off, I was like, I'm definitely following suit. So I definitely had a fun time.
I tell you, Mike, it was actually kind of like what Swatch just said. Usually black on a car at night doesn't quite work very well, but just something about the way that those 2 schemes were put together for you and Byron really made them pop. You know, the 213 Simware, which is the official sim provider for the Sim Racing channel on Roku TV, and they've been getting more and more popular throughout the ARCS racing and so many other places. I mean, they just launched a brand new website, all kinds of new merch, including like a 60 by 80 fleece blanket that you can customize for yourself. Yeah, they've come a long way. Cars looked absolutely phenomenal tonight, and yeah, great to see you up inside the top 3 again. It's been a little bit since I've actually been able to talk to you during one of these things. So huge congrats to you, bud.
Thanks, man. I Vegas is by far my favorite track. I put a little bit more practice in tonight because that's the only time I practice is on race nights. But I put a little bit more time into it. I didn't practice anything long run. I botched my qualifying effort. I definitely think I had the short run speed to grab a pole, and I was real upset that I about wrecked it. So it was fun coming through the field, man. It's just picking our spots, and you guys were talking about the paints, man. Timothy Latham does all of my paints, most of our team paints when we're lined up. That top notch paint every single time I bring one out. Next week, for the the breast cancer awareness and everything that we got going on here to support cancer. It's going to be this same paint scheme, but instead of seeing black and red, it's going to be black and pink, and the number trim. It's all going to be trimmed out in pink, basically. So I just couldn't get it done in time. But yeah, man, Tyler ran a great race. Byron showed a lot of series speed, and so did Hunter. I don't know how I was watching my lap times here, and I got the tools to where I could see what everybody else is running. And once you hit about that 20 to 25 lap mark, I mean, like Tyler said, we were just kind of grouped together there. 1 minute, one guy'd be faster, and the next minute the other one would be, and it was just a continuous flip flop, and we really wasn't losing much time to Hunter, maybe a tenth. But I mean, him and Byron definitely had the longer runs. If there would have been a caution there, we would have definitely fought for it. That's for sure. It was definitely loose, but my teammate came in and I didn't practice anything long run speed, and he's like, "It's looser the longer you go." I was like, "Well, that's just going to work in my favor because I love driving loose race cars." I thought it was going to get tighter as we went, so I was kind of nervous about that because I can't save tire to save my life. I think my right front was at like 69% when I last took 4 tires, so I was burning them up. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
Well, Mike, obviously we've known each other for a very long time. I was somebody when you came over to iRacing, kind of jumped in and showed you kind of the ropes, and now I don't want to race. So, but that 213 sim racing or simware.com car was definitely very, very cool to see, and I can't wait to see the one next week for the first race of the playoffs. But I mean, a great night for you. Like I said, you don't come in and race that much, but when you do, it's great to see you up here in the booth. And I think you haven't been here in the booth for a while, so it's
Michigan, man.
oh,
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, well, it's good.
Yeah.
Good to see you back in the booth finally. So, but yeah, great job tonight. And any shout outs for you?
Yeah, man. Shout out to you guys for doing everything that you do, and the admin team, keeping this thing rolling, and the 213somewhere.com, man. You check them out. I'm telling you, got some fire stuff that's coming out soon. I actually just bought my own T-shirt today, just to probably hang it up on my wall and put it in a picture frame, just because I ain't never had my own T-shirt before. So, got a lot of things coming away. Shout out to my teammate Ryan McCall and everybody on Zion Motorsports, and yeah, thank you guys. Good win, Tyler.
All right, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll bring up third place here, Pete. But before I bring Byron, actually, you know what? I'll bring Byron. Byron, you got a copy?
Yeah, I already know what's going on.
I got a question for you. If it wasn't for your dad, we had a discussion about this during the race. Would you know Britney Spears?
Yeah. Oh no, because if not for my dad,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't.
Okay,
I
didn't think so. I figured you were too young for it. But I got to bring up the picture
No,
that
I've
your
listened
dad.
to her.
Oh.
I've listened to her.
Okay. Well, I got to bring up the picture your dad just sent in. A couple people out there were saying that they couldn't wait to see it, but this apparently is the picture that he told us during the race is on his desk next to his computer while he's racing. So this is the Britney Spears picture that he has signed next to him while he's racing. It's not even your mom that's next to him. It is Britney Spears who's next to him. So that's pretty funny to me, but I don't even know how we. I think that was when Shab brought it up about maybe Byron going to watch her out in Vegas.
was
But
me.
oh, was he? Okay,
That was me. Yeah, that was me.
Well, Byron, that's got to be pretty cool. I'm old enough. Obviously, we figured out that apparently all of us are old enough to be your dad. Apparently, and Pete, little older, but. But Byron, you had a great race. I mean, dude, your car was on rails to start this first and second stage. You looked like you could make passes super easy on the outside. It looked like maybe somebody had given you a hint about that second lane with putting your tires right there on that seam, and you were able to make a ton of speed, ton of time. You were making passes. You got your way to second on each one of the first 2 stages, and then tonight you bring it home third to end the race. Were you saving too much? That's my biggest question.
Yes, I was. On that last run, I still had an extra lap and a half of fuel when I screwed up. I really did. That first run, I was running with Dohar. I was trying to hold with him. I was sputtering coming down into my pit box the first time. The second time, I'm like, oh, I don't want to overdo it. And sure enough, I did. And I got a lap and a half over, like I said. So at that point, once I realized that I was good and that I could have ran the way I did, I let it loose. And I did. I caught, I think, about 2 seconds on Dohar, and then I had Kyle come up next to me. He got my quarter panel. Man, does that thing, it just about whipped around on me. I do not
We
like
caught it.
getting my car near that quarter panel. Yeah. Yeah, that is not fun, but I can't complain. P3 tonight, it's a good way to head into the playoffs, start the playoffs. I'm hoping that I should be in the playoffs with the way I finished tonight. It was super good, but now it comes down to consistency, and that's all it's got to be. I've noticed I'm starting to get more consistent week in, week out. It's what I need to do, and right now it's working. Vegas, I felt like I had it. If we didn't have a fuel strategy, and that's the one thing I wish wasn't there tonight, was the field strategy, because that definitely would have came down to me and Peach, and I felt I had a little bit more than Peach did. And actually, that second lane, someone mentioned it. Absolutely nobody. I noticed it uh, about 20 laps into the run. I said, hey, you know what? That top lane's really good for myself. So I went up there, and that was just the best place to pass all night long.
I thought maybe your
Well,
team leader here gave you some coaching.
Nope.
No. It's just kind of coincidence, buddy. But no, Byron, hell of a run, bud. And you know what? Maybe something you just said will absolutely come to fruition. You have been extremely consistent all season long. Just that W been kind of eluding you. Well, maybe as we're getting into the postseason, the consistency will pay off. You'll go ahead and knock out a W or maybe two here in these closing weeks. As always, man, always a fan. Congratulations on another podium finish. Way to get it done for Patriot Esports, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully, I mean, I'm looking pretty good when I look at these tracks for the playoffs minus Montreal, because I believe that's being switched up, but I feel really good at the other three. It just depends. If we do get Bristol, I don't know what all tracks are on there, but if we do get Bristol or some sort of short track, I may be okay. I'm killer on the short tracks. Bristol was where I got my first league win ever, so I'll take it. Hopefully momentum can keep going. Like I said, just building myself up. Phoenix, I ran good. Vegas, I ran good. All the other tracks minus Michigan, I felt really good about. So we'll just have to keep the consistency up and keep rolling throughout the last 4 races of the season.
Well, Byron, it definitely looks like you're going to be into the playoffs based on what I'm looking at. You were sitting the first or second car without a win besides Kyle Taub in the top 10 with only 5 winners because Braden Holt has missed the max that he could miss. So he, even though he had a win, I believe is going to be knocked out of there. So you and I believe Ryan McCall and maybe I think it's going to come down to a couple points there between Chris Murphy and a couple others for finishing out the top 10. But it looks like right now Indy Oval is going to be the one that replaces Montreal. It's either going to be Indy or it's going to be Dover, one of the two. It's a close vote right now. If you haven't voted as a driver, go up to the admin chat and click one of those numbers. Scroll up above Mike Campbell's post for today's or Sunday's race for the truckers, and pick a track and vote. But I think you're on the verge. You've been so close multiple times. I know I mess with you and stuff like that, but I mean, dude, since you got your computer, that to me is the key. Once you got the computer and you could actually see the track more than just the pavement and the wall, I think that definitely pushed your skill to a new level. And it showed. I mean, you're right there with Kyle. You guys are super close with being so consistent that you were up here leading, and you've been leading in the trucks and. Like I said, you're so close to getting that win. You finished second multiple times, now another third tonight. I really think it's going to be there, and I think you have a shot before we end out this season with the 4 races in the playoffs. I think you could come away with that first win and turn down for what. So congratulations on that. Any last shout-outs for you before we close this down tonight?
Oh yeah, I got shout out to my family. I know they're out there watching. Shout out to them.
Grandma's out there.
Yeah, she's always out there. I love the fact that she comes in week in, week out, watches the races, cheers myself and my dad on. It's always good to see her. Pete for making this team. Patriot Esports wouldn't be here without him if he didn't say, "Hey, you want to go drive for a team?" And sure enough, I did it. My Jones Payton design company that I have going on. That scheme that you saw on track, I did design. Also, next week, I'm going to have a new design for the rest of the playoffs. It's actually, we currently have it on a t-shirt right now with 213 Simware, both with my name on it and with also a logo on it that says F Cancer. We are here for all proceeds are going to end up going to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Currently out for sale right now on the 213 Simware website. It comes in pink and white. So if you haven't and you want to go check it out, go purchase those shirts. It's towards a good foundation. And of course, you SWATs being here every week, giving us these streams to go back and rewatch and giving us this exciting broadcast to be able to watch and say, hey, wow, it's something that I feel good about. And then, of course, Mike. I mean, creating this league, we wouldn't be here without Mike. Creating this league, saying, hey, you know what? We're going to make this turn down for what? We're going to make this iRacing, and this has been a great home for the past year and a half.
Well, Pete, any last shout-outs before we close this thing down about the race we saw tonight and what we got upcoming here with the playoffs?
I'm a huge fan of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I was a big fan when the Sim Racing channel on Roku TV launched their first ever truck race here, and it was a full field, 43 cars or 43 truckers around that race from all different leagues, clubs, communities, and here again in the turn down for what iRacing Next Gen Series. They put on just as just as great of a show. So man, if this is any indication on how the playoffs are going to go, I cannot wait. SWATs, let's go.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap the show for tonight. Like I said, we got the race coming up next week. Obviously, come here Tuesday night, about 9:10 is usually when I go live. We'll go through who the playoff drivers are at that moment. I might try to make a little video for that and include all the playoff drivers that I can. I'll go back through the streams and pull up some cars and things like that, or just have the driver send me a picture of their car. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I don't know if I see a front runner out of the playoff drivers. I would say Tyler's probably the hottest driver right now going into the playoffs with his fourth win tonight. But, I mean, Pacey's out there with a win. Meredith has 2 early in the season. Hunter had the first win at Daytona, was fast tonight. Byron's been super consistent. Tob has been the most consistent driver we've had in the entire season without a win. So I think it could go to any one of those top 10. And then it's going to be also of the non-playoff drivers, who sneaks in here and gets a win. I mean, NASCAR themselves just had their first playoff winner win a race in the playoffs this season. All races prior were non-playoff drivers winning those races. So do we see anything like that here in Turn Down for What or not? Remember, you can always go back and rewatch these streams, whether it's on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or going out to the Roku channel and watching the Sim Racing channel, where Real Racing virtually is. And you can catch all of us content streamers, Pete, myself, Rick James, Atlanta, Pudnowski, SBRN. There's so many different POVs. There's podcasts. There's all kinds of different things out there to watch 24/7 Sim Racing. Make sure you go out there and find it. Right now, they got that special deal for the year, $19.99 subscription for the entire year. You can watch all the Sim Racing that you want, or you can do that. What is it? $2.99 right now per month, or $1.99 still. I don't know when that swapped over. It might have swapped over the other day, but. Definitely go and check them out on Roku and watch all that stuff. And we'll be doing the Christine Warriors the entire month of October while we've got these races going on. And make sure you go out there and check the link that Mama Bear put up in the chat earlier to go out there and donate if you can. Anything helps. So definitely go out there and try to do that. We appreciate all the Christine Warriors that showed up in the chat tonight, the viewers that showed up tonight for that. And we'll see you guys next week on Monday. Thank you for coming out.